When the homework disappeared, everyone blamed the wrong twin. The rude, white-faced sister stayed silent, but the kind, black-faced sister stepped forward and accepted the blame, knowing it would break her heart. But what no one knew was that this single sacrifice would reveal a truth powerful enough to change how the entire world saw them. This is a lost homework mystery, where kindness stands against cruelty and wins. The sun peeked through the classroom windows, casting golden beams on the polished floor. The school bell rang, a shrill reminder that another day had begun. But for the twins, it felt like the beginning of a storm. In Hearts of the Twins, it was never just about being sisters. It was about worlds colliding in one body, one fate, and two hearts. Mira, the black-faced twin, sat quietly at her desk. Her eyes, deep and reflective, followed every movement in the classroom. Beside her, Lyra, the white-faced twin, tapped her pencil impatiently, rolling her eyes at every minor disruption. Her attitude was sharp, her smirk permanent, a shield she wore to hide insecurities no one would dare imagine. Today was important. The math homework, the one assignment that could define their reputation in class, had gone missing. Mira knew instantly it wasn't hers. She had completed hers the night before. But when the teacher's stern gaze landed on the twins, accusations flew like arrows. Who didn't do their homework? The teacher's voice sliced the room, demanding accountability. Lyra, without a second thought, pointed fingers subtly, her smirk hiding a spark of mischief. Myra's heart sank. She understood her sister, the one who appeared arrogant and careless, was trying to avoid blame yet again. But Mira didn't hesitate. With a calmness that belied the whirlwind inside her, she raised her hand. I didn't finish it, sir. Gasps echoed. The entire class turned toward her, shocked. Even the teacher's eyebrows rose in disbelief. Mira felt the weight of their stares, the crushing reality that she would face scolding, perhaps even punishment, for something she hadn't done. But kindness, Mira knew, wasn't about recognition. It was about sacrifice. And in this act, she revealed the essence of her heart, a heart capable of love so pure, overshadowed cruelty. As the day progressed, whispers followed Mira everywhere. Lyra's pride remained intact. Yet there was an unease in her posture, a realization that someone else's courage had outshined her own. Mira endured the teasing and the stern lectures, each moment engraving a lesson not only for the classroom but for life itself. True greatness often walks quietly, unnoticed, yet leaves echoes louder than arrogance ever could. By the afternoon, when the teacher finally discovered the missing homework tucked in Lyra's bag, the truth emerged. Lyra's face paled as guilt replaced her usual smugness. Mira, ever gentle, simply smiled faintly, the kind of smile that did not mock but taught, a silent lesson in empathy, courage, and integrity. That day, everyone learned a subtle truth. It is not the loudest or the boldest who leave a mark on the world, but the ones who choose kindness when no one is watching. And for the twins, this incident wasn't just about homework. It was about identity, choices, and invisible power of a good heart that could outshine any facade of attitude. Mira had set the stage for a story that would ripple through their lives, a story of sacrifice, revelation, and the unspoken strength of love and integrity. The afternoon sunlight had softened into a golden haze, and the classroom was buzzing with whispers that carried a mix of awe and disbelief. Mira, the black-faced twin, sat quietly, her calm composure radiating an inner strength that seemed almost tangible. Every eye in the room could sense that this was no ordinary act. This was the silent courage of heart that chose integrity over self-preservation. Lyra, the white-faced twin, had never experienced such a sharp pang of guilt before. Her arrogance, usually a shield, now felt brittle. She fidgeted, her sharp eyes darting nervously as she watched Mira handle the aftermath of her sacrifice. Mira had endured scolding without a complaint, facing the teacher's stern gaze while simultaneously holding back her own frustration. The truth about the missing homework had emerged, but instead of Lyra being punished publicly, Myra's humility turned the revelation into a subtle lesson that everyone noticed. Students whispered about Myra's bravery. Some even felt ashamed of their own petty competitiveness. The classroom dynamic had shifted, the hierarchy of attention, and respect no longer dictated by attitude or appearances. Mira knew that kindness was not weakness. Every time she smiled gently, helped a struggling classmate, or forgave a wrongdoing, she silently rewrote the rules of social expectation. Lyra, witnessing this, began to sense the power of actions rooted in compassion. The arrogance she had relied on suddenly seemed hollow in comparison. After school, the twins walked home together. Mira carried her books lightly, her steps measured, serene, almost effortless. Lyra lagged slightly behind, her mind racing, reflecting on a reality she had long ignored. Strength is often quiet, unnoticed, yet it commands respect in ways boldness never could. At home, the day's events lingered like a shadow, touching every corner of their small living space. Myra's parents noticed a subtle shift, the newfound admiration in their peers' eyes, and most importantly, the realization in Lyra's posture, a twin learning humility in the presence of grace. That evening, Mira quietly placed her completed homework in her notebook, a silent symbol of responsibility and resilience. Lyra watched from across the room, her usual smirk replaced with a contemplative frown. She realized that life would always present choices, to cling to arrogance and superficial victories, or to embrace courage, empathy, and integrity, even when the world overlooked them. By the time night settled, Myra's sacrifice had created ripples far beyond the classroom walls. Friends, family, and even strangers will remember the tale, not of who was careless, but of who stood tall for what was right. And for Mira, the black-faced twin whose kindness often went unnoticed, this moment became a quiet victory. Proof that greatness often whispers, never shouts. The day had revealed profound truth. True character is measured not by what you take for yourself, but by what you give to others without expectation. The next morning, the school felt different, almost alive. Myra's quiet courage had not only transformed how her classmates saw her, but had also reshaped the invisible social currents within the classroom. There was a newfound respect in the air, an unspoken acknowledgement that true strength often comes from selflessness. Lyra, the white-faced twin, felt an unfamiliar tug in her chest. She watched Mira interact with friends, help a struggling classmate with a difficult problem, and offer gentle words to those who had previously mocked her. Each act, subtle yet powerful, was a testament to the depth of Myra's character. The contrast between them had never been clearer. Yet instead of resentment, a seed of realization began to grow in Lyra. The pivotal moment came during the school assembly. The teacher, with a warm smile, recounted the lost homework mystery to the entire school. He praised Mira for her courage, integrity, and willingness to take responsibility. The applause that followed was not just for finishing homework or following rules. It was for an extraordinary act of selflessness that inspired everyone present. Lyra felt a pang of shame, but also something new, admiration. For the first time, she understood that life's true victories were not about being loud, bold, or demanding attention. They were about choosing what was right, even if it went unnoticed. She approached Mira quietly, a soft, tentative expression replacing her usual smirk. Mira, I should have done the right thing. Thank you, Lyra whispered, her voice almost trembling. Mira smiled, not with arrogance, but with gentle warmth. Kindness isn't about recognition, Lyra. It's about what you choose when no one is watching. That evening, as the twins sat by the window watching the sunset, a profound silence enveloped them. The day's events had left an indelible mark on their hearts. Mira had taught her sister, the class, and even herself that true greatness lies in the quiet courage to do what is right. From that day forward, Lyra's attitude began to shift subtly but surely. The white-faced twin, who once wore arrogance as armor, learned the quiet power of empathy. Mira, ever kind and patient, continued to shine in her own way, a beacon of integrity, compassion, and resilience. The lost homework mystery was more than a school incident. It became a lesson etched into the hearts of everyone who witnessed it. In a world quick to celebrate loudness, it was kindness that triumphed, courage that inspired, and integrity that commanded respect. And as the twins walked home together, their differences, black and white, kindness and attitude, no longer seemed a barrier. They were two halves of a story that taught the world a timeless truth. The heart that chooses good even in silence, leaves a legacy far greater than any fleeting pride or arrogance ever could. In life, it is not the loudest voices, the sharpest words, or the bravest attitude that define greatness. True strength is measured by kindness, courage, and integrity, by choosing to do what is right, even when no one is watching. The story of the twins teaches us that selflessness has the power to inspire, to change hearts, and to ripple far beyond the moment of sacrifice. One act of quiet courage can outshine arrogance, transform relationships, and leave a legacy that lasts longer than fleeting pride ever could. Kindness is not weakness. It is the most powerful force in the human experience. When we act with empathy, honesty, and love, even in small, unnoticed ways, we not only elevate ourselves, but also uplift those around us. The black-faced twins' silent bravery reminds us that greatness often whispers, while arrogance shouts, yet fades quickly. Remember, the heart that chooses goodness, the courage to stand for what is right, and the willingness to forgive and inspire, these are the true marks of a meaningful life. In a world full of noise, let your actions be your voice. Let kindness triumph. Let integrity lead. Because in the end, it is the goodness we give away that defines our legacy, not the pride we hold.